since 30 years and or even more. I'm still writing songs and publishing those songs. I'm writing songs to actually balance myself mentally. Uh, and I'm a digital expert. I'm working on the digital field since it exists around early 2000s. And these days, currently, I'm managing the rights management team of the State 51 Conspiracy, that is a London-based record label, distributor, tech company, and we are helping independent artists and labels from all around the world to manage their rights on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and helping them in communication and connecting with their fans. This 1 hour is a digital deep dive. I will share with you a lot of information. I open to share with you the slides as well later. I'm not sure if the program will be able to share this with you, but I think you are in connection, so this will be really easy task. You can add me and you can connect me on LinkedIn anytime, any of you. I'm an open source guy, really, and happy to share with you this 1 hour and this massive amount of information that is actually enhanced by technology. We are here like now virtually connected, but technology changed the music industry big time and created a massive amount of new ways, devices, tools, and features that a singer, songwriter, or any musician standing in front of these days want to create, distribute their creations, sell those songs and sell those albums, perform those in live, also engage audience while they are performing, not just in physical spaces, but also online, growing with the audience, growing with revenues and collecting as much revenues as they can, hopefully connecting with all these people here in the Hemi project as well, with professionals like myself or the others, or with other brands all around. And that cycle enables you to create year over year, hopefully, while the mentioned technological developments just created a massive amount of tools and features and startups and applications and platforms that actually even enables you to create from a home, like with Ableton, or distribute yourself via DIY distribution or distributor, or sell your music directly to your fans via Bandcamp, or perform from your home via a live stream, or stage it, or from YouTube live streaming, engaging your audience via social media platforms, grow with massive amount of startups like Groover that connecting you with playlisters, influencers, labels. You can collect your royalties even using not just your PROs, like collecting societies, but new companies like Sound Exchange, or connect with your fans with massive amount of tools there are. And I'm not even going into that thing that's just happening with us, going into the metaverse and being like there, who virtual reality, AR, augmented reality, AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and NFTs. And most of us standing there as musicians and creators and creative people and just probably scratching our head, do I need this? Do we need this? I really would like to just make music, or do I have to be aware about all these kind of things? But you see, like many musicians are just adapting and let's say jumping deep into these things, and mainly maybe they reach something, maybe not, but there you are deciding what you really want to do and how you really want to use these tools and features. One is for sure, this is there for you. As Sam says from Spotify, their vision in the music industry that puts actionable data, give you a data about your performance and powerful tools directly to your hands as an artist, or to your manager hands, in order to handle it, learn from it, use it to reach and grow with your music. You as a creator, and these days the creators, those are who are balancing the creative mindset with the business mindset, feels like and seems like someone successful, you can't just actually neglect the business side these days. Or you have to find someone, a manager or a team that actually gives you the knowledge or handle you the whole business side of the music industry knowledge, and to create actually connection with your fans and enables you to continue the creative work. I do believe in creation. I do believe in creative ideas, and I believe you guys as creative minds all around the world, I think you are the saviors of the planet. But if you want to build existence on your creation, yeah, you have to know at least about the basics, about how the business works and what are your possibilities. First of all, if you're owning your sound recording rights or not, even you know the difference between composition and sound recordings. Who are the right holders in the case of composition? The songwriter and the lyricist. Who's collecting your money and revenues? If you are a composer, the collecting societies, your publishers. But what if we are talking about the sound recording? From one single composition, there can be a massive amount of sound recordings made. So if you are owning the sound recording as a do-it-yourself artist, or you are thinking to sign a label, or you are already signed to a label, is that an indie label? Is that a major label? Just be aware and be actually clear what a contract with a label can offer you. And if you are actually slicing the cake of the revenues to different kind of actors like labels, what they are giving to you, because you are actually signing to them your sound recording rights till the end of your life. So be aware about who's owning your sound recordings. And if you own the sound recordings yourself, then again, back to that, you have to know a little bit more about how it works. You have to build up your own brand around online, offline. You have to actually, no, you don't have to. You have the choice to tell stories about your art, not just about your music, but you have to capture the attention of online people online and offline, and you have to actually find the connection between your audience with your music and with your art. How open you are to do this, that is the question. Is great music, is that all? Great music is enough? Actually, marketing won't replace, let's say, bad music. However, what is bad, what is good in this sense? It's really difficult, and it's a really objective point of view. I mean, hopefully you're all putting out great songs and great music. But besides the music, are you authentic? Are you like, you're someone who's like yourself being, I mean, balanced with transparency and openness? Are you open these days as an artist, or you are just want to be a mysterious guys? We see more and more artists, even the huge stars, are sharing really private things about their life besides their songs and artists and art. Again, it's not a must. It's not something you have to do, but this is working right now. You have to stand out. We can reach a massive amount of music just with a click in streaming services on YouTube. If I want to listen a Colombian hardcore dark metal or whatever, I can do it with a click. So you have to be unique and you have to stand out in a way in these online services. How relevant you are, not with your music, but how relevantly you are targeting with your music, how relevant you are with your goals and strategies to reach your audience, to reach your fans who are actually looking for that sound, that genre, that mood that you are creating. Being consistent and regular, it's a long-term loan. It's a long-term strategy you have to create. You have to dream for the next 10 years and make it sustainable. You have to think about regularity. We will speak about this a little bit later. And of course, Keeping yourself inspired is probably the most difficult stuff. Creation should be fun. Playing music is fun itself. I think is the greatest flow to write music or to stand on the stage and do something like this is a really unique stuff. Being inspired why you have to be consistent, sustainable with sustainable strategies. You have to be somehow show your uniqueness by stay yourself and be authentic. It's a really, really huge challenge, but it seems like many artists can reach this, and hopefully you will be one of those. You're standing in front of consumers who are standing in front of endless choices. As I just mentioned, couple of 10,000 songs a day being released or in a week being released just on Spotify. And these services are actually personalizing the offer to me, to you, based on your history, what you've listened before, what genre you listened before, how long you listened those songs, what did you like, what did you comment, what did you share, what did you put onto playlist. These are all your consumer history that these algorithms are using, targeting back you with new music, with something similar. Time to time, it's really uncomfortable because these algorithms are actually closing to you onto your own bubble. If you're more experimental with music, it's pretty difficult to listen everything, but you should try to teach the algorithms for that as a user. And there you are. These are music consumers being targeted by algorithmic words on streaming sites like Spotify, Deezer, on YouTube as well. They are all actually following the customer histories and what and each users what they listen and how long they listen. And this made consumers and users and music listeners, and don't tell me you are not one of these who wants control and who wants to keep the control. You want to consume content without any restrictions on the device that is part of your body called mobile phones, and when you want or what you want to listen or hear, you want to reach immediately. Probably the only gap or the only obstacle can be like slow internet or not enough data package on your mobile. But you as a consumer and all of us, we want to control our consumption. We want to listen that music in that point, in that moment when I want to hear it. And if I don't find it, actually, we are just going and listen something else. So making your content available on all devices 24/7, it's really, really important. On a business where no borders, we want to reach and be able to reach international audience, and we even can detect and can research and search after our performance based on massive amounts of data that YouTube analytics, Facebook analytics, the Spotify for Artists analytics shows you about your own consumers, who they are, where they are from, how they are listening your music, what songs they are listening, for how long they are watching your videos, on what devices they are using, or what they who are watching your videos. So it's a data-driven world that you can also tap into if you're open to do that, or if you're a manager or team open to do that. First of all, you have to probably find a great digital music aggregator. I think it's not just like emerging groups here, probably groups and musicians who are already find an aggregator, but the role the digital music aggregator grown a lot in the last 5 years because they are in connection actually with the music services. These are service companies who are managing your content, help meeting even technical requirements of Spotify, YouTube, and any other services with your content, and enables and delivering your content to these services in different formats. It even can be voice recordings, like how your band's name is pronounced, to be able to use voice tools like Alexa, Play, and there is your band name. And probably if you're from a different country with a different name, probably Alexa doesn't even understand. So even digital distributors are doing this and delivering your content to these services and giving you even more these days. They are not just signing with you an agreement as you a right holder, you owning the sound recordings as a band or as a label. They are licensing your content strictly just for distribution. You agreeing and you give them the right to distribute your content and putting your content out to these services, even converting your content with the technological requirement these services uh, uh, giving to the distributor, and then managing your content, delivering your content, uploading, entering metadata, setting different policies, permissions, controlling your rights, who, what will do with your song on different platforms like YouTube, for example. And then they are also collecting and reporting back to you the revenues, hopefully uh, a growing amount of revenues year over year, communicating with these services, assisting and enabling promotional marketing activities on these services, helping you, for example, pitching your music to Spotify playlist or YouTube playlist, or giving you more promotional tools in order to reach your audience more successfully. There are two ways to reach these companies. If you have time, you have the relevant knowledge, you know the language, you have language skills, and you are open to do it yourself, and you even have some money to prepay to invest. Uh, there are myriads of services you can see here, like CD Baby, Ditto Music, Amuse, TuneCore, Reverb Nation, 1RPM, many, keeping and they are actually delivering your content. These are a UX, a user interface, like a dashboard. You upload all your music, the metadata, and then they are just delivering your content and your music to all the relevant services and reporting back to you, but without any personal interaction. They are not really giving you uh, a customer care or support, customer support as bands. While there are those who are working actually in a revenue share model, uh, they are giving you more personal support. Some of them, these are around this area, like the VIA Music Distribution, InGrooves, Rebeat, Believe Digital, the State 51 Conspiracy that I'm working for, the OR chart, for example. Some of them are not really going and working with indie and independent and DIY bands, but some of them are some of them do. And these are the two ways. If you have time and you want to invest money and you want to actually receive, they called, you are receiving 100% of your revenues back. You always have to keep that in mind. It's not a 100% of the revenues they are giving you back. It's they are giving you back the revenues they receive after all the services, YouTube, Spotify, and the others, paying to the collecting society as a copyright for the and the royalties for the composers and the authors, and plus they also have their own revenue share, YouTube, Spotify. They put a slice from the revenues, and the DIYs, the first group, actually giving you back everything. But here you prepay for the release. You have to prepay something for a single. Maybe every single year you have to pay for the release, etc., etc. The second group below, they actually don't ask you to prepay anything. They are working strictly on a revenue share model. Can be 80-20, 80 goes to you, 20 stays with them, or 70-30. Probably that's the most common revenue share model with distributors. YouTube is a really, really unique animal here. I'm sorry to call them like this, but it's a really, really unique situation. So you have to be aware about if your distributor is actually a YouTube partner company and covering all three major revenue source and revenue generating models within YouTube. But first, if you want to partner with YouTube, you have to be aware about the relationship with you, with the company that you chose with YouTube. You can actually, if you reach the threshold that is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, you can enable monetization on your own channel and you can earn money via AdSense. However, I wouldn't advise to you to do this. If you are like teaching guitars or producing or whatever music related, but it's not involves your original sound recordings, I wouldn't go into this direction. I wouldn't choose this direction. However, many bands are doing this, especially from the hip hop genre. And in this region, many bands are doing it. But you have to know in this way, you are losing on the composition level revenues and royalties because artists with original sound recordings, bands are not receiving the same tools and same features as a YouTube channel than if you would go for with a distributor or if you would go with a record label. In these both ways, the distributor is in contact with YouTube, or the record label is in contract with YouTube directly, and they are delivering your content. They are managing your rights via the content ID system or the content management system, and they are reporting back to you all the revenues. If you are just a songwriter, I'm not sure if any of you here, I guess you're all like bands, even your publisher or your collecting societies are contracted to YouTube, as I mentioned, and collecting societies are also collecting money after the composition level rights, royalties, not sound recording level royalties. There are three major ways to monetize YouTube: managing your rights and rights of sound recordings via the so-called YouTube Content ID. It enables you to control the usages of your music in third-party videos. It means any of the users all around the world can use your music in their videos, dancing on it or whatever they do with your music. They are synchronizing with their own videos, and the content IDs enables via your partner to control this and even monetize this, generating revenues from user-generated content who are using your music. This is a huge chunk of revenues coming from YouTube. Also, the distributor are delivering art tracks to YouTube Music. These are those kind of video files with a cover and just general metadata there. And these are created, auto-generated by YouTube in order to service a full catalog like Spotify and lots of other streaming services. You have to understand YouTube haven't started as a streaming service, as a, like, let's say the classical streaming service like Spotify. They started as a video sharing platform, and many artists haven't shared all their music on their YouTube channels. Many artists haven't even had a YouTube channel. So YouTube had the challenge how to actually service the same catalog as all the other streaming services are. That's their innovation, the so-called art tracks. Most of the DIY distributors are covering you these two: the content ID monetization and the YouTube art track deliveries, but not the channel monetization that I mentioned that has a threshold that you can even start your own. However, I wouldn't advise to do this. I would advise to find a great distributor who are YouTube partner companies and can covers you all three revenue sources coming from YouTube: the channel monetization, the art track deliveries, and the YouTube content ID control and monetization. Okay, I mentioned already metadata is probably everything based on metadata, everything, the distribution, the rights management, the royalties, the money finding you back, it's based on clean metadata. And in the last 10, 15 years, a dynamically growing world, just growing uh, with massive amount of metadata types and databases. So the importance of the clarity in traceability and transparency in these metadata databases is really, really important. It's a huge challenge these days for many, many industry actors, like collecting societies, like distributors as well. So to following the currently changing international developments in this subject is really, really important. But for you to understand just the basic structures of metadata, A, for rights management, B, for retrievability, is on the following sides. There are two groups of metadata. I would say the reference metadata. These are permanent. These are not changing except if you're changing labels or publishers. Okay, your name as an artist, the album title, the release date, track title, duration. As I said, the label and the publisher can change, might be changed, but the catalog ID, the UPC code that is on every single product being in commercial world, the so-called ISRC code, the International Standard Recording Code that identify one single sound recording in the digital world. These are really, really important. The format and even the BPM, if you're playing EDM, electronic dance music, or contemporary electronic music, some of the services like Beatport are offering music based on BPM, or if you're selling music for films and movies and other synchronization usages, BPM is also one of the major metadata that they use to filter out music. The other group is the descriptive metadata. These may change as genre, similar artist influences, the mood of your music, location where you're from, different tags and keywords, and all content-based something, textual, images, or your URLs that the distributor can work with as well if they want to promote you on different services. So the reference metadata is really important in rights management, royalty tracking and reporting. Without clean metadata, you can lose revenue. So you have to be really, really careful, even uploading your music in a DIY distributor, to typing the right metadata, because if you mistype something, you will probably not receive the revenues. And the descriptive metadata helps you to be retrievable, helps you in discoverability, promotion, and in suggested contents, not just in services, but in Google searches as well. What are those descriptive metadatas that is important, the importance on tags and keywords actually related to a specific band or brand or website? They help to make you be more retrievable, more optimally findable on search engines. But these keywords has key roles in search engine optimization, search engine marketing, or even in advertisement, paid media advertisement on Google AdWords, AdSense, or Facebook ads, etc., etc. It's better if you have your own keyword cloud, if you just have a document or an Excel sheet and you write down all those keywords and phrases that are relevant to your work, to your creative mind, to your band, to your music, to your brand. And you can be known by a hit song or the names of the band members or certain creative career milestones that you played in, I don't know, Glastonbury in 2019, etc., etc. I wish. So create a keyword cloud and create a cloud of keywords and use this consistently and regular. Remember, consistency and regularity in keywords and search engine optimization, it's really important. So wherever you are sharing content, tag, use keywords. If you are writing your PR article, but write that PR article keyword heavy, because some of the journalists, they are just copy pasting it. So wherever in social media sites, you're using images, videos, blog posts, adding hashtags, tags in the right way, and use your keyword cloud all the time. I hope you are still with me. We reached how to plan a digital release. I'm sorry, I have to drink a sip of water. So we already had the distributor, we already probably released, and we are before releasing something. Um, if you don't have a label and you're a DIY artist, how to plan your digital release and what tools you need as an artist. A digital release day optimally, I'm not sure if any of you still releasing physical releases on vinyl or CD, especially with vinyl, it's really difficult to plan these days, but optimally something comes out on multi-format ways on the same day. Remember always it can take 3-8 weeks after a digital aggregator, a distributor can deliver your contents to all services. So the dates should be planned accordingly. You have to find out what you really want. You see many artists these days following the algorithmic, the hunger of algorithms, I would say, and they're releasing 3-4 songs before releasing the full album. How to reach this? How to plan this? How to actually tell Spotify, sorry, Spotify or any services, please, first I would like to release this song and that song, but I would like my fans unable to pre-save the album for the release date. But before, I would like to prepare something. I would like to build up attention to the release date of my album. Figure this out, find out, plan this out, update all your profiles, websites, social media, email communication about your releases. Try to start to pre-negotiate any marketing and promotional features, highlights. These need time, minimum 1 month. So try to plan content, what sort of content you will use that will help you to promote your release and your new songs. And of course, planning paid media campaigns. You have a budget, you have money to spend on advertisement. Don't just actually use paid media and not thinking about organic content and organic share and actually building up attention. Most of the bands, no offense and respect to all of those who are not doing this, most of the bands are just like pushing and boosting and on Facebook a post that says, hey, here's my album, hey, here is the concert, come, and paying for that. It's not good. I would say it's not that really resultive on long term. It won't connect you emotionally to new audiences. It will be really difficult to find new audiences. You have to, or you have to try at least to build slowly but surely on long term, with long term regularity and consistency with content relationship with your own fans and audience. And you have to pre-plan and prepare a lot of things. For example, you have a new album, and that new album has a new cover with the new set of colors and symbols and visual branding, communications, and visual elements that you are sending out more messages besides your music. You have probably a logo. You have to create optimized file sizes for each digital music services and social media platforms that start to communicate your new album visually as well. You have to build up a little small biography The two sentences must be kind of catchy. Time to time, we have just 15 single words to make an impact in most of these user interfaces. One sentence, of course, about your latest release and the new release, things that you are things it can be things you are proud of, a short bit on a background of your band, or where you are from, what sort of music you plays. Try to not use assertions, try not to lie or use big words that are not there. Simple language, shorter direct sentences. You can even mention few similar artists or influences in this short textual format, and use your keywords again. And then audiovisual formats, multi formats in length and size, probably official music video if you have resources, or a lyric video, different creative formats, and then probably short videos for your Instagram feed, or YouTube stories and YouTube shorts. Live events, live streams, if you're doing such things, short live behind the scene uh, videos, how you created your album in the studio, or what's behind your idea in this song, or what's the message of your music or that song, if you have such, if you have such thing. And then, of course, gallery images. Even the lyrics are more and more important and can be a part of your creative content formats. Many services I like actually enables you to highlight just the chorus, the refrain, or the chorus of the lyrics, and attach with a picture and a visual, and then you can share those on your socials, etc., etc. Music Match Lyric Find, the distributors also can help to reach those platforms that are delivering music lyrics to services. I mentioned voice activated devices like Alexa, Siri, and all the others. Even voice recording your own name to the distributor will help for future users of voice activated devices to find you, and uh, teach the device to even recognize your name. But in many cases, more and more bands are using WhatsApp messages, voice messages, or messenger voice messages to send out message to fans, or to even connect with unique fans and an audience. I'm not sure any of you made a search on Google and found the complete chaos on the right side of the display. You can have a control on this if you are visiting how to control my Google Knowledge Panel. There is an answer, of course. There is a link where you can start. And then actually there are many platforms you have to build, or you have to claim access to. For example, your YouTube official artist channel, the Facebook artist page, Instagram business profile, Spotify for artists, Apple Music for artists, Amazon Music, Deezer Backstage, and goes on and goes on. Of course, you can cherry pick some of these, but if you have a connection and if you have these features that enables you to have more optimal way to brand yourself, to communicate alongside with your release, with your new album, uh, not just visually, not just with your audios, but visually as well. I guess some of you already have the Spotify for Artists account. If not, go to artist.spotify.com and claim your profile, verify your profile, upload those pictures and photo galleries and those bios that you prepared previously. Create playlist about your influences or favorites. Create canvases, these minimum 3, maximum 8 seconds loop animations that even engaging more consumptions on Spotify, for example. There you can even pin content, feature content for 14 days. Social media links, concerts, and fan contribution is also available via your Spotify for Artists page and account, and you have the control to brand yourself, and you change these alongside each of your releases. You can even have and give team access to your manager or to your social media manager if you have such colleagues. The YouTube official artist channel is also a new feature started probably less than a year ago, where all your own artist music can be in one single channel. And also it enables you to optimally profiling yourself on YouTube related displays, like in search, in charts, in playlists, in YouTube.com music or the YouTube music application. So apply for the so-called OAC, official artist channel, via your distributor or via your label. Here, the topic channels and the partners channels and even previously lost channels can be merged into one, so you won't lose all the subscribers and not the views. All these subscribers will be merged and you can engage with them from this on one platform. Only the OAC appears in search results, so it's more search friendly in the YouTube Music service if you already have the OAC upgrade. The OAC upgrade shows a musical note next to the channel name and creates two auto-generated sections, one for your official music videos and the other for your albums. It also gives new tools, again, as I mentioned, to control your profiling, your branding. And even if you're downloading the so-called YouTube Studio mobile app, this gives you a great analytics access to data that you didn't had before. You can actually not just see your own videos performance, but you can see even the sound recordings performance, or you can even check the performance of those user-generated videos using your music, if you remember before the content ID monetization, as I mentioned. How to update the OSC? You have to have an owned and managed channel. You have to at least one or three already delivered release to the YouTube music by your aggregator or distributor is the same. Check if you have auto-generated topic channels on YouTube or any kind of mistake there that you have to have in order to be merged, and this can happen minimum a month. However, there are distributors who can arrange this for you in a couple of days, but then you have the OAC. And there you can have Apple Music for Artists. Also, you have to apply for your profile if you already have an available release on the platform. Apple owns Shazam. So via Apple Music for Artists profile, you can check and you can follow who's Shazamming your music from where. And these data is also can be really useful and helpful. These are doing the same new artist-focused features. Certain distributor partners, you can request profile updates. And again, you can control your branding, you can upload your bio, social links, featured content, and again, reach analytical performance data. Amazon Music for Artists, exactly the same. I don't want to repeat myself. Claim your artist profile on Amazon as well. And then besides all of these, there are the social media and more profiles you choose, SoundCloud, Bandcamp if you have, but I guess Instagram and Facebook or Twitter, many of you are using it for not just visual branding, but sharing content and certain release-related visual elements on these platforms. Build cross-promotion between these profiles. And if you're open to use content marketing, and try to build direct relationship with your fans. None of these profiles are yours. All of these are owned by tech companies, and they give you access, however, but you are not owning here kind of anything, not even the content you are sharing, sadly. We will speak about this a little bit later, how to connect with your content, how to build direct relationship with your audience, with your fans, using the relevant platform for your band. What is the relevant platform for your band? As I mentioned, probably Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, those are the majors, but many bands are just deciding to use their own website and Bandcamp and just go to direct to the fans and using some other features and not involving themselves into socials. Maybe some of them are just using Instagram. If you're using any of these platforms, you have to be aware what are the relevant content formats on these platforms. Uh, Here comes again, you just probably explode, oh, I don't want to do this. And at the same time, previously, we didn't have, or artists didn't have such amount of possibilities to extend the playground and communicate with visual stuff, not just with your music, but have a multi-layered choice and chance to connect with your band, with your fans, and express yourself creatively, tell a story, and telling the story in a multi-format, multi-platform way. It doesn't mean that you have to tell about things about yourself, don't be misunderstood, but you can be creative uh, to tell stories with visuals and give a backup and a background and build a complete anyway universe with content, with visuals, audio visuals, textuals, and with your music, of course. There are massive amounts of freely available tools on your mobile to use this. You can create content really easily. You can create GIF files. There are free tools that enables you to do this. You just have to think out of the box if you choose that way and you believe in this whole content creation madness that we are doing this in these years and in these days. But connecting with your fans on online places and online services, this is the situation right now, right here. Relevant platform, where your target group are, where is your audience? Again, watching probably all the previously created and collected data. If you see that your target group is there on and who are following that forum or that Facebook group, then go there and use Facebook for that. More profile means more times to invest and more content to create. Set strategy and set goals. This is something, again, the somehow a little bit business orientated strategical mindset. Why you use a certain platforms, for what you use, what you will express there, what will you share on that platform, what do you want to reach on that certain platforms. You can even have a dream goal if you want. Not just like jumping on the bandwagon because TikTok is now, oh, everyone's using TikTok, I want to use TikTok. Probably you don't have teenage audience because you're playing, I don't know, something that is related more to the older demographics or not to teenagers. You never know. Uh, Always have a goal and always have a strategy when you're starting to use any platforms. And then define the roles and tasks, who produce the content, who shares the content, when and how regular you're sharing the content, who build and manage paid media campaigns, when you are putting the money into the game. Not from the first and oh, money, 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 and we push, 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 but try to build something and find the right points and find the right moments to actually invest for paid media campaigns. Build the profiles, as I mentioned before, and the content formats, what kind of content entertain or educate your audience. I'm a huge fan of Deftones, and probably in the last 3 or 4 months, I'm following Mr. Carpenter's guitar playthroughs that actually they created. I think already like 30 or 40 of these videos. He's sitting in his home, surrounded by product placements. All the brands like guitar bands, amplifier bands, effect brands are supporting. So even you can educate with content, what topics you are using about your new release, your event, or your tour, and then what formats are using, text, image, video, short video, and tags and keywords all the time. As I mentioned, planning the paid media, where to spend money on advertisement is really important, and which platform you will use for paid media. What are your main conversion goals? You want to reach more views, more subscribers, or you want to sell a product, or you want to send them to your website, to build your database and you collect emails. Uh, if you are going to the paid media, what ad formats you will use on, for example, YouTube ads, if you are going to do that, or which format of ads is working for you on Instagram or on Facebook. What are your targeting strategies? Do you know who you want to reach with that certain campaign? And of course, how to create compelling campaign creatives. What is that 30 minutes long or 6 minutes long little video that will be used for the campaign creatives? And then you have to also tune, follow, listen, and think and plan whatever you heard, whatever you learned from your data, and do fine tune and then review again and do these continuous measurements of both ways, even with your organic content and even with your paid content as well. I would advise you to use a content calendar. It's actually available if you make a search like content template or content marketing template. You can find a lot of these like Excel sheets, and where you pre-plan your content strategy alongside your release. What platform you'd use, with what content type, who will do the job, what tools you need, what format, what will be the tags and keywords, etc., etc. You can even pre-plan this, and you can even automatize the scheduling. You can even schedule these, and you just probably sit back and watch and fine tune world, and besides to playing music and rehearse and being good and writing good music and being good on stage, this feels like a massive amount of work. But if you want to be a full-time musician, uh, a you don't have to do this all yourself. Uh, Build up a business adventure with your manager or friends and share the revenues and share the tasks. If you can, hopefully you will be able to do this. For example, YouTube uh, creative formats to think over. Not just official music videos, but there are lyric, art tracks, teasers, covers, choreography, if it's relevant to you, cross promotions, behind the scenes, tutorials, as I mentioned, Mr. Carpenter from the Deftones, how to play on guitar your songs, Google Hangouts, live streams, and I can just continue even asking fans to put your music into their videos, and you can even monetize those videos. Just for YouTube, a release strategy on the time when the album announced, when the single is released, when the album is released, and besides after the album release, in between times when you're touring or beyond, there are different, you can use these different formats on the different stages, while you can also optimize the branding and send out marketing and time sensitive messages as well. And you can build up audience, you can build a playlist and connections between different videos. But again, the regularity is really, really important, especially in YouTube that grows organically. It's really difficult to be a musician and thinking about how to create at least 12 contents, 12 videos for one single year, and share one single video, not keeping your channel silent for a month or for years. Okay, there are different creative formats you can apply to, and you can always update your profiles. Of course, connect with your fans there with different creative formats. There is another interesting topic and another interesting phenomenon, the so-called streaming and algorithmic world. Feed the algorithm in that sense. G.R. McKee is a streaming executive of the Alamo Records in North America, hip hop and R&B, of course, is a total different genre with total different time frames of releasing music. But it's a really interesting concept that music industry is a streaming industry. He even calls this a streaming industry where gatekeepers are gone. You have the Spotify for Artists profile, and you can check your analytics, and you can check how long your songs are consumed by Spotify subscribers. Music is content for them, and analytics, and not playing out the algorithms, but watching what's happening with your songs and target the right audience. In hip hop, even they are collaborating, like rapper A featuring rapper B, rapper C, and DJ D. This is really common, these things these days, and they are sharing each other's audience and each other performance, what they had before on Spotify, and trying to use playlist and pitching the music. But what they do is they keep up a regular releasing schedule. That's why major bands are doing this previously mentioned strategy, that they are releasing 3, 4 songs before the album comes out in 3 months in time in the future, just to feed the algorithm. GR says you can even make 52 songs a year and put out music every single week. I think it's insane and it's too much, but you can actually follow what's happening with your new release, how long it actively listened, consumed by the Spotify and the streaming service users, and the analytics shows how long the audience listening this release. So being consistent, it helps you to keep up yourself and feed the algorithm, and use the pitch tool as for editorials, and with time, more and more listening time or watch time in YouTube will help you to grow in the service, and the algorithm will actually recommend your music to others. You will be on more and more playlists, and with time, this is the growth, how it works in this algorithmic world, even hacking each other fan base, as I mentioned, featuring artists. And then GR also say that you have to build content around your music, and there is no such thing like too much content. Uh, Many artists would probably say, "I'm sorry, GR, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I don't want to play this game." But then they probably have a direct consumer relationship and an own database, and they probably started this 10 years ago or years ago, and they have their own website, and they've been sure that they own the platform where their audience can find them on the web, and they have full control on this connection and on this relationship with your fans, and they do whatever they want on that platform. It even gives them a somehow more serious, more professional uh, image than just being and relying on social media and constant content creation. Even search engine optimization as an opportunity is better on a website. More opportunities for direct sales of physical products. The possibility of building a database on this platform. We have to go back and think the old email marketing ways, and connecting with your audience. There are bands like the 80s prog rock, Marillion, or Einstürzen the Neubauten, but many bands are actually connecting with their database via emails and reactivating themselves even in 2, 3 years, and the audience is still there for them, not really relying themselves on social media, or they are using social media as well in a clever way, but they are always trying to direct their audiences to this D2F, direct to fan ways, Bandcamp, or your own website. This will always be yours. It won't disappear like MySpace or Spotify just disappeared for an hour last week or this week or a couple of days ago. Or many platforms are just disappearing, and hopefully the internet stays there. So database development, email collection, always enable this to your visitors to subscribe to your email list. In most cases, it's located to the top right of pages. Be visible and straightforward with this. It is really essential to give an easiest way to find you and sign up and offer even free content. This is another story, and probably some of my colleagues will speak about this in this line of series of presentations. I won't go there right now. I mentioned data previously. Really available data is there, and it can help you massively. Lots of tools and services giving you content that enables you to find out who are your fans and who they are, from where they are, what age group they are from, what online services they use, if they prefer to own or access the music. They would be open to buy your product, your vinyl, your t-shirts, your merch, your tickets for the concerts. If they would be open to come to your secret gigs, if you to do so. In what form do they listen to music? What devices do they listen to music? For example, what auto directed devices they use, audio directed devices they use. Do they use streaming services? If so, which one? If they buy physical formats, etc., etc., etc. You can ask your audience time to time to give you such information. The data helps you a lot. You just have to put the right question. What do you want to know? You have to find the right report. You have to deep dive a little bit into that report. You don't have to think this is complete mathematics or something, because our data visualization, it's great, and it's in a really high right level. I'm not into data analytics as a person, as a personality. I'm also like totally more like the creative mind. But whenever I just go and dive deep into it, it's pretty visible there, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to go deep and find their insights and do actions and plan actions based on those insights. For example, in YouTube, understanding how your content strategy is performing, which videos are more popular, and you can see which videos your audience is more engaged with because they are commenting, they are liking, they are sharing. And you can plan your content based on what's working well. You can see how your channel is doing. Are people watching your videos? Who you reach with your videos? Again, I don't want to repeat myself, but there are practically a massive amount of platforms giving you massive amount of data. Who are your fans, demography, even fan engagement into a level like you see consumption habits, how they're, which playlists they are actually listening, who are your active and generic listeners. You go geographic data into towns and cities and plan your tour based on that. Or artistspotify.com gives you this, but there are the YouTube analytics for artists via the YouTube Studio application, and then Facebook, Instagram analytics, etc., etc. I hope you are here still. This is the last slide. Thank you again to be here. For all about hats off and congrats that you've been chosen and you've been selected in the Hemi of this program of the Hemi. You can meet me in the second round. I think George mentioned that in the second round, they narrow down the selection of bands, and you will be able to even connect with me for an hour, and we do a one-to-one session, and speaking about your content strategy or your dilemmas or your ideas related to anything you heard here. If you really want to understand the present and the recent changes of the music recording industry here and now, you really have to actually build up your online presence. I'm not sure, but George probably just take my last. I'm so sorry to go back here. You have to actually understand these things, what digital music services are on the ground, how to build the digital distribution to the video releases, how to actually handle metadata, your keywords, how to be retrievable, know how to maintain a web presence and be consistent and think on long term and find the right way of manage and communicate with your fans with content. Be clear about how to use, how to create relevant content on these platforms. And of course, a little bit the rights management that are a little bit more complex, like YouTube Content ID, Facebook rights management. Go and find the distributors that helps you and educate you to go further and to be better with your skills, and yeah, fine tune your business skills besides the creative work. Collect, measure, and learn from your data and enjoy creation, because I think, again, this is the greatest flow, and I wish you all the best and the longest future to create, to be able to create. Sorry to be really, really cheesy at the end, but I'm like this. This was me. This was part of the almost famous music business school that is headquartering in Budapest, Hungary, but we are extending our educational goals and markets, even with the helpful Hemi program here and now. Again, LinkedIn, you can add me, you can connect me, and outside of the Hemi program, or if you are in Budapest anytime, feel free to drop me a line, or if you're looking for anything, local venues, whatever. Thank you very much, George. Now I can stop sharing my screen here.
And I'm
See
so lucky.
you.
It's the second year actually I can hear you, and still I'm learning. I felt a disaster. I used to play cello, and at my time I wanted to be in an orchestra, so there were not even things close to metadata and stuff, because it was 35 or something years ago. But hearing you, although this huge amount of information, it's amazing how I'm jealous how nice you say it. Thank you very much. We'll share all the presentations. And everyone, see you soon again.
Stay safe. Keep up the hope, guys. I know it's challenging. Be good. Cheers.
Thank you, Andras.